Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Tony Plays The Binding of Isaac. Hope everyone's doing alright. I'm doing, honestly, horrible. -9 loss streak. Yeah. You can't make it up. So, honestly, what I'm gonna do here is, I think we're just gonna go for regular Cain. We're just gonna play a tried and true good character. And we're just gonna try and get a W in. It's very funny is that this is technically the second episode I'm recording today, but this will be airing first. Because if you're not aware, first episode was a Tainted Judas run that sole purpose was also to just get a win. I then proceeded to fumble and die on honestly a pretty good run. I'm gonna say I blame lack of HP. However, you could very as well just easily call him that, like, Tony, you're coping. And you know what? I couldn't really argue with you. But anyways, that aside, hope everyone's doing alright. I'm doing pretty okay myself, just kind of chilling, killing, you know how it is, you know the vibe. Past weekend, didn't really do much. Although I actually, I was talking about kind of my weekend a little bit in the, I guess, tomorrow's episode. And I completely forgot to mention this story that I wanted to share. So, yesterday, today, you know, Sunday, Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, the Saturday before Mother's Day, God almighty. You know what? All right, rewind. All right, so, Saturday, day before Mother's Day. Me and my friend are kind of chilling. He's talking about, oh, I think I'm gonna... That's criminal. You can't do that, right? That should be illegal. That level of fuck you should be illegal, bro. Anyways, friend of mine lets me know, yeah, I've been thinking about getting my, what's it called? My PC parts. Probably this next coming week, I'm gonna buy everything to build the PC. And I was like, dude, that sounds great. I can't wait. It's gonna be so exciting, so fun. And then he let me know something. He let me know, what's the word I'm thinking of? Benny. Damn it. He let me know that the price of his build had went up. Because we were checking PC Part Picker. His original build that we had planned out, the price went up, and we were like, oh shit, man. Honestly, I've been a little bit out of the game ever since I was like kind of said and done on building PCs and stuff. Not really said and done on building PCs, but it was, you know, I did my time, I guess you could say, you know, what's the word I'm thinking of, man? I did my time. Was this guy talk like it's jail or something? you know, I did my time searching different PC parts. I helped make my brother's PC, made my friend's PC, made my uncle's PC. You know, I'd already made like 3 PCs in a short span of time. And I was also helping my friend on PC Part Picker pick out his PC parts. Really a lot of alliteration in that sentence there. But regardless, you know, I was like, I'm kind of not done, but like, all right, I got my card. I got everything said and done now. My uncle's fine. My friend's fine. My brother's fine on his shit. All the parts picked out, so we don't even need to like worry about anything for like the future. For the foreseeable future, just buy the parts, bro, and we're good. So, I had not been keeping up with much in the PC space, I guess, since then. Since that moment, you could say I had not been keeping up with much in the PC space. You know, I still, like, every once in a while, peeped a video that I enjoyed or something like that, you know. Well, okay, it doesn't work. I was hoping it would, like, kind of clear it out, the Curse of the Lost, but I guess not. So I was just like, all right, I heard, he told me like, hey, PC Part Picker says the price kind of went up now. In my mind, I was thinking, yeah, most likely tariffs or something, you know, stuff like that. You know how it is. I'm not gonna sit here and get into tariffs or whatever. You don't, you know, half the American population needed to Google what are tariffs post-election. So I feel like if I haven't explained it to you, you probably Googled it yourself already. You know, whatever, it is what it is. So nice. Wow, Curse of the Lost. I still managed to figure it out. This guy is based as hell. So regardless of what I'm talking about, I'm like, all right, you know, makes sense. It would be a little bit more expensive. However, I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Let me start looking at PC Part Picker. Let me see what we can kind of come up with here, you know, because I don't want my friend to spend so much freaking money building a PC and, like, you know, he don't even really fuck with it like that. So I was looking stuff up, you know, checking these things out. And that's when I started complaining to my friend, like, dude, it's kind of crazy. Why are some of these things still so, like, insanely high priced? You know what I mean? You would think they'd be so much cheaper, but no, they're still, like, kind of ridiculous in their pricing aspect. He was like, yeah, you know, I don't really know. Kind of sucks. So I like look into it slightly, and I noticed something I guess I didn't think I would notice, was like, hey, let me check this one website that I almost always check because it's a local PC place to the Bay Area, called Central Computer, and it's kind of like a, I don't want to say bootleg micro center, but like if you guys didn't know, the Bay Area here, we don't have a micro center or whatever. So my used to be like best bet would be going to Best Buy or just online, buying something online and having it delivered to me. But now that I checked it out, I was like, huh, okay. Central Computer, they seem to be, you know, they seem to be solid. But from what I heard from some people, they're kind of like maybe slightly overpriced compared to the other stuff. But in my mind, I'm kind of thinking like, well, I mean, we ain't got shit else to kind of, we literally have like nothing else, you know? So what do? Not much use in complaining, I guess. I mean, you could complain. I'm like an avid, I think it's okay to complain kind of guy. You know, my thought process is like, oh, well, you know, what can you do? You know, that's my thoughts. It's like, kind of, what can you do, bro? It's unfortunate circumstances, but like, I couldn't think of any single other alternative to Central Computer other than just buying online, you know? Like if you wanted to go like an in-store kind of buy a PC thing place. Anyway, so I was checking online and I was like, they still somehow have 9070s in stock. And what was crazier is that if you compared the price to a 9070 XT to like the 7900, which is the one that I wanted my friend to get originally, I was like, man, the prices of these have gone up so much in the past, like, you know, and since like the tariffs have been imposed or whatever, stuff like that, everything's kind of gone up. And especially the freaking, what's it called, dude? Especially the price of this 7900 XT, which in my opinion, not even in my opinion, like, if we're comparing a 7900 XT to a 9070 XP, the 9070 is just better. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, why not just go get him a 9070? So I freaking decide, hey, you know, let me check. Let me see how much they got in stock. And lo and behold, I see they got like, for the specific store that we went to, I checked, Central Computer said they had like 15 9070s in stock. And I was like, brother, there's no way, right? All right. So I made the plan. I'm like, fuck it, bro. Tomorrow, we're going to wake up. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to go pick you up. And then we're going to go to freaking Central Computers. We're going to get you that 9070 XT, you know? It is what it is. And we do it. I'm being so real. Dude, come on. What could I have done? Like, there's some shit I could have done, but like, I got schooled. That's all I need to say. I need to tears up bad, I think also. So I go pick him up. We drive to the local central computer. And when I'm there, I don't know, man. I don't like talking to people much. I feel like I've made this very well known. I'm kind of like antisocial to a degree or whatever. So I'd be thinking, Tony, what's up? What are you talking about here? Bro pulls up, not even joking. We go into the store. I'm immediately find the GPU aisle. It's kind of a small store. I look and I see, oh, there's kind of some dude already getting helped at the GPU aisle. And this dude is over here talking about, like, you know, like, oh, I would get the 5090, but you guys have it for like, you know, like $2,000 something, so I'm gonna just get a 5080. And the guy was helping him. He was very, you know, he was very knowledgeable. He was helping the guy out. He was like, okay, you know, like, do you, and he was like, oh, I'm not sure what to get though, you know, like, do you have any recommendations or whatever? And he was like, well, if we're going like same price point, kind of, even, not even really, I would say, considering the 9070 XT is cheaper. But he was like, do you use ray tracing or do you use any of that stuff? You know, ray tracing, stuff like that. You use like production or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you know, sometimes a little bit. It's like, well, I would recommend the 9070 XT to you, but you know, if you're gonna be using ray tracing and all stuff like that, you just get the 5080. He was like, nah, man, I don't know, man. You know, he was like over here kind of like, in my opinion, the 9070 XT is kind of the way better value. It's cheaper and it's like pretty good by itself. The card is pretty solid. But, you know, the worker, God bless his soul, was trying to help out bro. And bro just wasn't going for it. He was like, nah, I think we'll just get the 5080, you know, NVIDIA, you know, yada yada. And the kind of the funny part is, like, after he goes helps him out, you know, he has some other dude ringing him up, and I go up to the front counter and I'm like, hey, yeah, me and my friend were trying to just get some help, wanted to buy a GPU. And the same dude who was helping the other guy is like, oh, I'll help you out, you know, I got you, I'll help you out. I'm like, oh, dude, sick. You know, you'll help us out, dude. You're awesome. Sick, nasty, appreciate it. So while we're going to the like aisle, I wish I could, like, I wish I had the skills to explain this to you guys. I'm gonna try my best. Imagine, just real quick, imagine like a supermarket, you know, imagine kind of like a supermarket or a store layout where you have a kind of square in the middle of the store. That is where they ring you up. That's like the center of the store. That's where they ring you up. That's where they have the register, all that. Immediately, I'm not even joking, like maybe 2 feet to the left of that center aisle, of that like center square, is like where the aisles start. So you get like all the aisles lined up on the left side of the wall, extending outwards towards the middle. And literally the aisle immediately next to this center thing, it's like aisle number 3, it's immediately next to this middle section here, and no more than like 3 feet away is the graphics cards section of that aisle. So we're there, and I'm asking him like, hell yeah, you know, so what card are we looking to get? I was like, oh yeah, can I get that ASRock 9070 XT right there? And he was like, oh, good choice, you know. And I'm not even joking, like, he looks at me and he starts talking about how, like, you know, I was trying to tell the other guy over there, you know, should have get this instead, it's a real better option. And I was like, yeah, no, it's pretty good, I prefer this over the 5080. And then as we go up to the front counter, bro who he was trying to help beforehand is like still sitting, like still there, getting helped out by another dude in the middle, you know, another cashier or whatever. And he's just like, yeah, you know, I was trying to help that guy out, you know, but he wanted to go for the more expensive thing. You know, I was like, you could have saved yourself some money on the 9070 XT, you know, I'm trying to tell him. And in my mind, I'm just kind of sitting there, not sitting there, I'm like standing there awkwardly, like, no, I get you, man, but like, like, you really gotta say this like right next to him, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of sneak dissing bro in front of his face, and you know, like, you're over here like, yeah, this guy got a bad value, you know, he wants to spend his money how he wants to spend his money, but like, you spend his money like a fucking dumbass. And it's like, bro, I don't like. I preferred it. One, I preferred if you just didn't say that at all. Two, I prefer even more if you said it without me near you, because like, I don't want to get caught up in the middle of this shit, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want bro to be like, yeah, look at this guy right here, he's getting a 9070 XT, he got a better value than you because your dumbass wants to get a 5080. And it's like, oh, you think you're better than me? It's like, no, you know, I don't know, my brain has a real knack for liking to, what's the word I'm thinking of, exaggerate scenarios, I guess. And in my mind, it's kind of escalating the scenario to a point it probably will never reach. But like, you know, my brain is cooked into thinking that it was a possibility of like, you know, I was over here like, man, you gotta shut the hell up, low key, bro. I'm not trying to get in trouble with anyone. You know, you're over here like, I don't want to say bro was glazing me, because that definitely seems like, you know, like he wasn't doing that. But it was more like, you're over here praising me for something like, oh, my decision in the graphics card I wanted to get. But I'm kind of sitting there like, yeah, you know, sick, that's cool. Are we done now? You know, like, I don't want to, I kind of don't want you talking about me in like speaking distance of this other guy who you're kind of low-key like dissing on with this statement here. And I was like, dude, oh my god, I wasn't like actually real embarrassed, but I was a little worried, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't want to get in the middle of anything here, you know. it was just funny, but also like, I was a little nervous, bro. You guys ever had any situation kind of similar to that, you know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, in my mind, I'm kind of just thinking like, you know, in my mind, I'm kind of just thinking like, in what scenario is that the move, I guess, you know? In what scenario is that the move? And I'm kind of like, you know? Like, I honestly, this is just me being Tony. But like, I wouldn't even speak words to the customer. I'd be like, oh, yo, what graphics card do you want? You know? Or if anything, I would not talk about any previous transaction, you know? Like, say I worked at a Central Computer or whatever, and some dude comes in, he wants to get a 9070. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, pretty good card, you know? Pretty nice. I got one in one of my builds myself, you know? I like talk to him about stuff like that or whatever. But I wouldn't be like, yeah, you know, I was trying to sell the 9070 to this other guy, to like this one dude. To the, you know, the last dude I was helping still in earshot. We're like, you know, bro, I don't know. It was a scenario I would not wish myself to be in. And unfortunate that it was a scenario I didn't think anyone could be in, I guess, you know? I didn't think you could sneak this a previous customer you had to another customer while the previous customer is in like listening distance, you know? That was horrible damage. That's like, you gotta reevaluate your life damage, you know what I mean? There we go. But dude, I was just like, I don't know, man, you know? You know what I mean? I was just like, yeah, I don't know, bro. You know, it's a good card. Although I did learn something cool from because that one cashier, he just like grabbed the graphics cards for us, but he didn't ring us up. Some other dude was ringing us up, not out. Some other dude was ringing us up. He was a pretty cool guy, honestly. He was letting me know apparently there's like some 9070, like regular 9070s out there that if like you could buy them and then you could go and like flash the BIOS for these cards, these original 9070s, and like run 9070 XT software or whatever. I don't know how real of a statement that is. I haven't done the research myself. If true, kind of fucking crazy. You know what I mean? That's kind of an insane like thing, but like I don't think that's true, because I thought like 9070 XT, 9070 original, that's like a hardware difference, not a software thing, you know what I mean? But that's what bro told me. I don't know, I need to do my own research or whatever, you know. Don't trust, or not don't trust, you know, I think guide. I don't think he was trying to spread me misinformation. I think he was just, I don't know, he wasn't like trying to maliciously spread misinformation. I think he, like, you know, bro might have just been misinformed. But granted, he also works at the computer store that I went to. So, like, he might know more than me, you know? I could be the dumbass. Regardless, you know? But yeah, you know, besides that, I mean, how else could I knock that up to, knack that up to other than just like not embarrassing, I guess, but like a, you know, just like a weird store encounter, you know? I don't think I've ever had any one of those outside of like, no, I don't even know, honestly. I try my best to just like get my way through any encounter at a store or anything like that, you know? I just try my best to like, not sneak my way through, but like worm my way through it, you know? Someone tells me something like, oh, you know, that's pretty good, or I'm like, yeah, you know, so I heard, you know? I don't really try to make conversation or whatever. I'm just, I don't know, bro. I be getting nervous, man, you know? You feel me? I be getting nervous or whatever, so I don't try and make convo. If someone's telling me something, I'm just like, oh yeah, oh really, you know, stuff like that. You know, I'm pulling out like all the dry convo stops kind of deal. It's like I mean no harm when I say this, man. I'm just, you know, I'm just nervous, bro. I don't like talking to people. I get nervous. I'm gonna say the wrong thing, and it's like, Tony, how could you say the wrong thing? You know, it's like I don't know, bro. I got no charisma. You know, dare I say no riz. Although I feel like if you say riz, that kind of implies in like what's the kind of term I'm thinking of? You know, I think if you say riz, that implies in like trying to pick up. You know, like in a dating sense, sort of deal. Well, like for me, when I mean riz, I mean like you have chaos and spider mod. A sec. My apologies, y'all. Just got a. Not call, but food's ready. Be right back. My bad, y'all. Went to go enjoy myself a nice little dinner. What was the plan? What's the plan for what's going on right now? I have no idea. I'm gonna try and figure it out while we, you know, we're just gonna have to eyeball this. But yeah, like I was saying, it was a kind of embarrassing, not embarrassing, but you know, I just didn't want to be in that scenario, brother. You guys ever had anything similar like that happen to y'all? I'm trying to think of any more I might have had, but like I said, I don't really talk. And I actually try my best to avoid, honestly, as much active communication as possible with I'm gonna say this and it's gonna sound mean, but I don't mean it in a mean way, with like any retail or like, you know, worker, that sort of whole deal. I just don't like, you know, I just don't want to interact with them. And like I said, I know that's gonna sound mean and like, what the hell, Tony, but like I mean it genuinely. I genuinely do mean it. We need to do Hush as this guy. It's not like, you know.
Soul of Isaac.
Okay, so there's obviously a good and a bad choice here. It's not like I'm like scared or anything, you know, truth be told. I feel like I need to say this. It's not like I'm scared of retail workers or something like that, you know? Or like, I fear you. No, I don't. I don't fear retail workers or anything like that. You know, retail workers are your friend most of the time. 90% of the time, retail workers are your friend. Although I have worked with some people before, you know, trust me. Oh my lord, there's this guy I used to work with, no doxing, no nothing like that. I'll try and keep it as anonymous as possible, but holy lord, man, bro was a, what's up with this, by the way? What's up with, like, I guess it's not just all retail workers, it's like, it's just people in general, you know? I don't want to say guys in general, because, like, you know, I'm not a generalizer in any aspect sort of deal. But it's this dude I used to work with, bro. He was kind of a creepo, man, you know? And like, not necessarily like, nah, he was. Nah, never mind. I don't know why I'm trying to defend, bro. I'm trying to not be mean, but honestly, I'm not even being mean. I'm just being real. You see, there's a difference between being mean and being, you know, telling it how it is and being an asshole. I'm trying to ride that fine line, one might say, without garnering any bad faith interpretations or whatever I'm trying to say. But I do need to clarify here, you know. Just gotta clarify that. And this dude, holy man, don't know what his dealio was, but I actively remember this. You know what? I'll say this one for towards the end because it's a bad story. But dude, there was this guy. You're just gonna have to hear me call him this guy because I'm not gonna say his name. Dude, I work with. He genuinely. I'm trying to mean this in the nicest way I can, but like, dude's also, you know, he was a weirdo. He was a creep guy. He was the kind of person that was like, I don't mean this in a mean way, but it's like, you know, how have you been working this long, kind of sort of deal. From what I know, I think he's had a bit of a troubled past, one might say, you know, so I don't want to shit on him too hard, but like, you know, some things are like kind of inexcusable sort of deal. But yeah, dude was just like a grade A creep, you know. I'm talking like would try to make conversation with everyone. Making conversation isn't creepy, but like it's just the words he said, you know what I mean? And I literally mean everyone. Anyone that came up to the counter, bro, instead of just helping them, just, you know, I'm just trying to help you get your ass out of here because I know that's most likely what you want to do. You just want to come pick up your prescription. You just want to get the hell out. I don't blame you. That's how I feel. But Lord, dude. Bro would not let up in like any sort of aspect. He would yap your ear off, even like you're like, you know, like, dude, I really want to talk or anything, you know, especially me. I barely wanted to talk as is. Now I got this guy over here yapping my ear off about like, you know, just trying to make combo, and it's like I'm obviously not trying to reciprocate the conversation, but he's trying to keep it going. I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing the Tony classic where I've just hit him with the yes or the wow or the I didn't know that kind of deal, you know? Just trying to hit him with the same 3 old voice lines, hoping something will change, but nope, keeps going. Keeps freaking going. But I have chaos and you still give me missing no? What's your problem? You know, what's the deal? I have chaos, like, this should be illegal or something, you know? Shit's fucked up. But dude, it was, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. He would always try to make conversation. He'd always be, I don't want to say like hitting on the women, but like the way he talked to the guys versus the way he talked to any like, you know, woman that pulled up to the fucking counter or whatever. Like there was obviously something different, you know? There was obviously something different in the way he was interacting in that aspect. And I was just like, it's a little weird, you know? It's a little weird, but you know, I'll keep my mouth shut because, like, you know, I don't want to say anything bad. But it's definitely the truth, you know. Oh, something here. Hey! You know, there was just something weird, bro. There's just something weird about the way that he talked to women and shit compared to a guy that, like, to me, obviously rubbed me the wrong way. Being like, that's a little weird. One. And then, you know, made it worse is this story I'm about to tell y'all. So, one day, not even joking, literally just, I had a workstation I used to work at, you know? It's funny because the job that I have, it's kind of like involves you to like move around, you know, go to the, ooh, almost didn't go hush. Yeah, I don't have hush. It requires you to like move around, go here to, you know, go here to help a patient, go here. You know, that whole shebang. Where it's like, it requires me to move around a whole bunch. But truth be told, at the end of it all, I kept my ass like pretty much always at the same workstation. As soon as I was done helping someone, I would walk my ass back to the same workstation, you know? As soon as I was done doing this thing, I would walk my ass back to the same exact workstation each and every time. Why? I don't know. I just like that workstation. But regardless, one day I was just staying at that workstation. It was kind of a quiet day, but we had a bunch of people working there, you know? And I'm gonna tell y'all the lineup. I'm gonna tell y'all the CVS starting lineup here. All right. So, 2 people called off work. So, no. It was someone called off, so we had to get someone to fill. And this was like an in-between time when we didn't really have a second pharmacist to kind of interact with and like, you know, help stuff out. It was our like manager pharmacist, and then we had a floater. You know, we had someone else who would just kind of float around. So, one person called off work. They were filled in by someone else. They managed to get someone else to cover their shift. And it was an Asian woman, you know? And I'm gonna describe them. I'm gonna describe my coworkers like this because it plays into what was said. So, short Asian woman, you know, came in, help out, appreciate it. Our other floater pharmacist at the time, because like I said, we were just different people floating around, just trying to get their hours in. Another kind of, you know, short Asian woman. And then finally, our third coworker, she already herself was just a short Asian woman. And we also had this guy on our shift too, you know? So we had 4 technicians, 1 pharmacist. That low-key, that's some CVS employee's dream out there. You know, having this many techs to cover a shift. But this was before they started cutting hours, you know, this is back in the day. So we had 4 techs, 1 what's it called? 1 pharmacist. Now the techs, they were, you know, doing whatever it is they were doing. They were just filling out some stuff. It was a little bit quiet, so the pharmacist was kind of shooting the shit, chatting it up with them. You know, they were talking about a whole bunch of whatnot. Myself, I was at my workstation that I usually was at, just kind of chilling, you know, honestly minding my own fucking business, because like that's what I do. That's what me, Tony, does. Is I try my best to mind my own business and just kind of chillax, you know, just kind of chill, do my work, and like, you don't bother me, I won't bother you kind of deal. This dude pulls up to like the fill station where all three of the short Asian women are, you know, my coworkers are. And I'm not even fucking joking when I say this. Bro pulls up to them and just like, what did I do to get so lucky to be with all the cute, you know, with all the cute Asian ladies? And they were just kind of like, you know, nervous giggling. You could tell when it's a nervous giggle. And they were all just kind of like nervous giggling. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, what fucking compelled you to say that, you know? I'm not even joking. What like fucking neurons fired in your brain to be like, this would be a great thing to say to these ladies. This will totally not creep them out at all. You know, what did I do to get so lucky to be paired up with all the with all the cute little Asian ladies? And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Are you stupid? Dude, I'm not even fucking joking. I pulled out like the classic, I'm pretending to be like on The Office. I like looked at the camera, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even joking. I like pulled off the classic, I looked at the fake non-existent camera and just like, what the hell did he just say? I was baffled, bro. I didn't think a human could say such a statement. You know, such an uncomfortable ass statement. And bro, I could hear them kind of like giggling, you know, just trying to laugh it off or whatever. And he was just like leaned over, like, you know, like leaning over the workstation, kind of just like, I don't want to say staring, but it low key is what he was doing. He was kind of like staring at him. And I was just like, wow. You know, holy wow. This guy. Like, come on, bruh. You know what I mean? This guy, like, come on, bruh. That's dead ass how I was feeling about it. I was just like, come on, man. You know, why would you say that? What compelled you to say such a thing? Especially something that made them so uncomfortable too, because like I said, like, you just know they were. You could tell. I literally, like, I was just like, damn, what the fuck? And it baffled me, bro. Like, I was just flashbanged, you know? I was stun locked, low key. That's so, you know, that's like the only, I guess, other, granted, that one's different. That's like secondhand embarrassment, and like, I'm a part of the story, and that like, I'm a coworker there, you know? I wasn't a customer dealing with this. So that's kind of low-key what made it worse. It's because it's like, you know, you have something like that happen, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, I gotta get the hell out of here, you know? I gotta leave. I gotta leave the vicinity immediately, because I am not safe. But I couldn't, you know, I was still clocked in for like another like 3 hours of the shift or whatever. So I was like, oh, we're just gonna have to slide past that remark, you know? We're just gonna have to slide past that remark and hope I never have to hear that shit again. You know, you feel me? It was bad, bro. It was bad. I was baffled, genuinely. I was just dead ass baffled that a human could say that. And think it was like the, you know, like I could actively hear the Fallout Bad Karma like tone playing when he hit that voice line. I like, bro. You know what's crazy is I think we have literally only got damage ups, not a single tears up. In fact, due to conjoined, we got a tears down. Also, that monster, that guy, he's a bad boss. Genuinely bad design, and I think he should harm himself. When the hell? I didn't, what? How do I get Tech 0? I managed to get that, which is sick. I'll take it, hell yeah. And of course, I mean harm himself in the nicest way possible, obviously. Shout out YouTube. Just like, dude. You know, you guys got any creepy coworkers? I have a story, another story. It's my friend's story, which makes me not want to say it because, like, I don't know how comfortable bro feels with me telling a story that, like, regards... It doesn't regard him, it regards a coworker of his, but, like, still, you know what I mean? What's up with that creepy coworker archetype, you know? Like, how is it so easy to fill, I guess? Because I feel like every place has it. You might be thinking, Tony, you know, got any info to back that up? Every place has it, you know? That's kind of a... Like, you're making a real broad general statement there. And it's like, yeah, I kind of am. But, like, everyone, you know... You don't need me to fucking say it, bro. Everyone has that one, like, creepy coworker, low-key. And, you know, if you don't have a creepy coworker, then you got one of two options. You know? Either you are one of the lucky few individuals that live in a nice, cool workspace with no creepy coworkers, or two, I'm sorry to break it to you, my slime, you are the creepy coworker, which I would hope none of my Tony, you know, no Tony viewer is. You know what? And I'm not gonna say I know. Let's not make definitive answers here. I'm gonna just hope y'all are. Y'all are not. You know, y'all are all chill people. You know. There's not like there's a Tony census to take, you know, to where I can like gauge the viewership average. I think YouTube does that for me, kind of, but like I don't know where to find that, so I don't bother with it. I don't know where to find it, so I'm just like, okay, just kind of leave it for a next time Tony thing, you know. Maybe I'll find out about that later or whatever. Delirious. I forgot that I had school bag. This guy hates Fortnite. It was a donkey video, I think. I forget. anyways. You know. The creepy coworker, it's like a... It's just like a stereotype that everyone got at their workplace. You know what I mean? I've seen too many creepy coworker there was literally a boom. Not only like on TikTok, but like for some reason in one of our friends' group chats, there was just he is bugging. There was this like uptick, I guess you can call it. There was this like renaissance of creepy coworker memes, you know? And like my friends were actively making their own creepy coworker meme, and it's like you know, it's real, bruh. It's real. It's a real fucking thing. You don't need me to tell you, because some of y'all know this, you know? And it was just crazy. It was hella funny, because it's like, you know, where's this renaissance of creepy coworker memes coming from? Oh fuck, that's a diabolical ass room, bruh. That's a diabolical ass room. But, you know, it's kind of just like, where's this renaissance? Where's this renaissance, one might say, of the creepy coworker, like, stigma here, you know? And unfortunate to say, I had my own run-in with one of those people, you know? I've had my run-in with a creepy coworker, unfortunate to say. I've also had my run-in with chill-ass coworkers, though. Honestly, everyone else at that job was chill as hell. Besides, like, maybe my manager. But, like, it low-key seemed like he was stressed all the time. I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely said some maybe not so nice things about my manager that I used to work with in the past. But I think, like, you know, thinking about it now, I think bro is just kind of like... Not... Is that... The blood around the edge, that's delirium, right? Let me check. Post it. Isaac. Completion marks. Delirium. Okay, it's delirium. Nice job, y'all. We did it. We had a winning run for once. Anyways, want to thank y'all for watching. If you guys did enjoy, greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day. and or good night, depending on the time reviewing this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.